Hey, beautiful yogis. Welcome to Kirsten Nielsen Yoga. This practice is a prenatal practice for mamas to be, and it's suitable for any mama at any stage of her pregnancy. However, my student Alex is in her third trimester, so I will be speaking to that. Now, you will need for this practice a bolster or a big pillow, 2 blocks or 2 books, and 2 blankets, just to make sure that you're really supported and really comfy. Now, please consult your doctor before practicing. And those mamas who need more support and who want to go deeper in their practice while pregnant, I now have my prenatal series available to download. So please check the link in the description below. So let's get started. Today, I have my beautiful friend Alex, who is 33 weeks pregnant. So we'll be starting the practice today sitting. So either sitting on a block or a bolster or your pillow, but just making sure that your hips are a little bit higher. And those of you who have anything going on in their low back or SPD, then I would recommend to bring your bolster, bring your pillow between your legs so that you're sitting just like Alex and I in Virasana. So once you've found your comfortable seat, we'll begin to close the eyes and just allow the arms to be nice and heavy, allowing the hands to just gently rest on the lap. And before we connect to our baby, before we really connect in, we'll just take a moment to feel ourselves here in this sacred space that we have created for ourselves. In your home, in your place where you feel very safe. Start to tune into the sounds around you. The temperature on the skin. And aware of your physical body here in space. Feeling into the sit bones grounding. And with every breath in, can you breathe in that little bit more space, more length in the spine, heart a little bit more open. And every exhale, starting to land here, starting to really, really ground. So together we'll take a big breath in, filling up. And out the mouth, letting the breath go. 2 more like that. Big in breath. Out the mouth, settle, long out breath. Last one, even fuller, even deeper. Big breath in. Soft pause. Out the mouth, let something go. And just notice in the body, where can you find more softness? Any places where you feel like you are gripping, holding tension. Just finding that little bit more ease with the exhale. And with the breath, we start to lift the veil between worlds, the external to the internal. With the breath, we begin to usher ourselves in and in. Bringing the awareness to our heart. Aware of the emotions that are present for you in this moment. the subtle energy that's here. And just really giving yourself this minute, this time, to allow the heart to speak. Really just checking in with you. Before we can even think about holding space and loving and nurturing our baby, we have to give that love to ourselves. Hold ourselves. And taking a big breath into the heart. Really breathing yourself full in this quiet. Smooth, steady out breath. And then gently starting to bring the hands onto the baby, onto your belly. Allowing your baby to feel the gentle touch of your hands, the warmth. And using touch as the gateway in, as the bridge to connect you to your baby. And sending the breath to the belly, sending the breath to your baby. This very soft, gentle, loving breath. And the love that you have tapped into at your heart. With every exhale, we start to send that love to our baby. Gentle, loving, conscious breaths. And we'll keep one hand onto the belly and place the other hand onto the heart. Keeping that same connection to your baby as you do to yourself. Big breath in, into the belly, baby, breathing into the heart. Breathing into the hands. Smooth, steady out breath. And again, one more big breath in, filling up. Long, slow out breath. And when you feel ready, gently drawing the chin in towards the chest. We'll start to slowly blink open the eyes, just taking your time. And still feeling that deep connection to yourself and to your baby, we'll release the hands. We'll start to come off our bolster, coming off our pillow, our block, nice and slow. So we shift the weight forward. And you'll slide your bolster or your pillow away. And we'll come into a tabletop. Now here, so I'll get you to turn this way, Alex. There you go, darling. Now here you can take your blanket and place your blanket underneath your knees for a little bit more cushioning for your knees. And then you'll grab your two blocks and just place them underneath your hands, like so. That's it. And we'll shift the weight slightly forwards. And here, as the shoulders come right on top of the wrists, just start to move the hips a little bit from side to side. Just gently. Good. So just releasing any tension in the low back. And then we'll start to open up the front of the hips a little bit more here, especially as we sat for a little bit of time. So finding stillness, pressing down into the hands, we'll step the right foot either in front of the block or just outside of the right block. That's it. And then coming up onto the fingertips here, or you can keep the hands flat onto the blocks, whatever feels more stable. You'll take a big breath in and lift the heart. Then as you exhale, you'll just soften your elbows and fold in. So feeling into the hips that little bit more. Yes. And then press down into the front heel, lifting the heart back up, straightening the arms. Inhale. Long, slow exhale as you fold in. 2 more like that. Big breath in. Long breath out. Last one. Smooth in breath. Folding in, long out breath. Then coming back up, smooth and steady inhale. Press down into your blocks. We'll step the right foot back on the exhale. Nice and slow. Yes. Good. And then switching sides, we'll step the left foot forwards. Big step. Yes. And then again, coming up onto the fingertips as we press down into the left heel. Take a big breath in, opening through the heart, lots of space. Exhale, we'll get a little bit deeper into the hips on the breath out. So you might not go so low, might just be a little bend in the elbows. And then back up, inhale, really breathing into the front of the right hip. Folding in, long exhale. 2 more, smooth in breath. Feeling the breath rise all the way up, envision it going to the crown. And then long exhale, envision the breath going all the way down to the base. Last one, breathing in. Folding in, long breath out. Well done. Coming back up, inhale. Pressing down into the blocks. We'll step the left foot back on the exhale. Beautiful. We'll walk the blocks about hands distance forwards and then bringing the hands down onto the mat. So off the blocks. Now, those who have any pain in the wrist, swollen wrist, carpal tunnel, you may like to fold your mat a couple times, or you may like to lower down onto the forearms. Spreading the fingers out wide will start to really root down into the index finger knuckles, so this should help to really protect the wrist as well. And then again here, we'll move the hips a little bit from side to side, moving the pelvis as one. And softening the elbows slightly, we'll just do a couple of gentle rounds of cat and cow, but making sure that we're not overarching the spine when we go into extension and opening or flexion or rounding. So we'll take a breath in and we'll send the heart forwards, sit bones ever so slightly back, but still keep the length in the low back. As you exhale, really subtle, chin towards the chest, sit bones towards the backs of the knees as you round. And then again, big breath in, heart open. So feel it more from the mid-back, upper back. Exhale, chin to chest, round, curling in. Really, really subtle. Once more, big inhale. Curling in, long exhale. And then coming back to center on your in-breath. Now we'll use the blocks here to come up to standing. So moving the blocks in a little closer. And you can bring it on more of a wider setting. So placing the hands onto the blocks. And what you'll do is you'll step 1 foot forwards in front of one of the blocks. And then the other foot. That's it. So feet hips distance, you come into a forward fold. Knees nice and soft. Feet really grounded, spread through the toes. And then again, for Alex, I can see that she kind of wants to move her hips a little bit from side to side. If you feel like that as well, to start to lengthen a little bit more through the side body, then please do that. Or maybe the medicine today is stillness, so you may have to stay still and really ground through the feet. Also, just feel in energetically what you need. So whether it is stillness today or whether it is more movement, you can really explore that on your own. Really make this practice your own. Now we'll come up onto the fingertips and we'll take a flat back and breathe in. So heart forward, sit bones back. Exhale, softening the elbows as you fold in, but still keeping lots of space for the belly. And again, halfway lift, inhale, grounding through the feet. Exhale, elbows soften as you fold. Last one, inhale, halfway lift. Imagine like you're spreading the feet out wide. Fold in, long out breath. Now weight more to the heels. Allow the arms to be heavy. You'll slowly start to peel yourself all the way up to standing, bending your knees as much as you need. So we think strong legs as we rise all the way up, just taking your time. Beautiful. Shoulders up towards the ears. Take a big breath in. Roll the shoulders down the back. Long breath out. Now here for Tadasana, either you can stay with arms alongside the body, palms facing forwards, or hands onto the belly, whatever feels best. And again, we just check in with our stance, check in with our standing posture. As we know, when the belly starts to grow, we start to get more of that curve in the low back. So here, we're really training ourselves to stay with that length in the low back. So pressing down into the heels, we imagine like the sit bones are moving towards the heels. We keep lifting the heart. Here, take another big breath in. Grounding into the feet more on the breath out. When you feel ready, sweeping the arms up overhead, take an inhale. Grab a hold of the right wrist, a little lean over towards the left on the exhale. Now stay, take another big breath in. Press down into your right foot even more on the breath out. Back to center, inhale. Switching sides on the exhale, grabbing a hold of the left wrist, lean over towards the right. Pressing down into the left foot, inhale. Stay long, exhale. Then coming back to center, breathing in. Release the arms down, long breath out. Beautiful. And we'll bring the hands onto the belly. And as we do, we'll step the right foot back and we'll come into warrior one. So the right foot will step back. That's it. Now here, we want to make sure that it doesn't feel like we're walking on a tightrope, that we bring the foot out, the back foot out a little wider. That's it. Now we don't go too wide with our stance. We want to make sure that, again, we feel really stable here. So the feet are gently hugging in towards one another. And if you do have pain in the low back at all, we come up onto the ball of the back foot. So we're more into a crescent lunge. Now here, take a big inhale, lift the heart a little higher. As you exhale, deep bend into the front knee. Good. Now making sure that the knee isn't tracking over the toes. Either you stay hands onto the belly, or the arms sweep up overhead, we breathe in. So making sure those back toes, for you, Alex, I'm just going to turn them out a little bit more. That's it, good. So that back leg, the inner thigh is still rolling in, but we want to create lots of space for the hips still, so the toes are slightly turned out, we think, to about 1 or 2 o'clock. Again, hands on the belly or arms overhead, whatever you prefer. Keep pressing down to the back heel. You feel that opening through the psoas, the right leg. How's that, Alex? Okay, good. Take another big breath in. Long breath out. Then straightening out through the front leg, inhale. Lower the arms down if you had them overhead on the exhale. Then from here, we'll start to turn the back foot in, the back heel in ever so slightly, and then heel toe the left foot a little closer in. So we're now working the feet to be in line with one another, but the right toes are still ever so slightly turning in. That's it. Then from here, we'll open our arms out wide. We'll take a breath in. Yes, good. And then starting to shift the torso forwards on the breath out, we'll take our left hand either to the block or to the inside of our left knee, so the back of the hand. Yeah, good. So coming into Trikonasana triangle pose, either staying here or placing the right hand onto the hip. We'll take a big breath in, lengthen through the crown as you press down into the back heel more. Stay on the breath out, hugging the feet towards one another. So especially in our third trimester, we want to have really strong legs to prepare ourselves for birth. So keeping the soft bend in that front knee, feet hug in. Take one more big inhale, long exhale. Then pressing down into the feet, coming back up, maybe hands onto the belly, nice and slow. And then as you exhale, we'll start to turn. So bringing the heels in, toes out. So you'll turn this way towards me, Alex. Yeah. So heels in, toes out. Hands onto the belly. We'll take a big breath in, having the legs straight, but a soft bend in the knee. As you exhale, goddess pose, we'll bend the knees, weight to the heels. Ooh, do you feel like a goddess in this pose? Yes. And again, straighten through the legs, breathing in. Deep bend into the knees, breath out. If you want to, you can introduce the arms. Arms sweep up overhead, inhale. Hands through prayer, deep bend into the knees, exhale. 2 more. Arms up overhead, breathing in, straighten through the legs. Hands through prayer, long breath out. Last one. Arms up overhead, big breath in, legs straight. Deep bend into the knees, hands through prayer, long breath out. Now hold here, lift the heart a little higher, inhale. Stay, ground through the feet, exhale, really strong legs. Then straighten out through the legs, breathing in. Beautiful. And then bring the feet a little closer in. You can heel toe first. Whoa. And then just take your time. We'll step back to the top of the mat. Just take your time. How's that? Good. Yeah. We'll take a moment just to settle. Whew. It's been a while since Alex has practiced yoga, she said. Whew. Yeah, so you're going to feel the legs tomorrow, I think. So hands back onto the belly or arms alongside the body, you choose. Again, settle into your stance, your standing stance, Tadasana. Toes spread. Think sit bones towards the heel as the heart lifts. Feeling very steady, very strong in our stance, but still with an open heart. Now arms sweep up overhead when you feel ready, big breath in. This time grab the left wrist and lean over towards the right on the breath out. Stay, big inhale into the left side body. Press down into the left foot more on the exhale. Back to center, breathing in. Switch sides, grab a hold of the right wrist, lean to the left on the breath out. Big inhale. Grounding through the feet more, long exhale. Then back to center, breathing in. Releasing the arms, hands to the belly on the breath out. Beautiful. Soften the knees. Now we'll step the left foot back. So take a couple steps back. Yes, good. And then again, we're finding our warrior one stance. So we'll heel toe the right foot out a little wider. And then make sure that the back toes are pivoted more to about 10 or 11 o'clock. That's it. So the inner thigh rolls in. Yeah, so the hip points want to face forwards. We take a big inhale, and then we start to bend into the front knee, but keep pressing the back heel down on the exhale. So watch the front knee. Notice if the knee wants to knock in, you might have to come up a little bit higher, and then just making sure that that knee joint is pointing forwards, in line with the toes. Good. Either you can stay hands onto the belly, or sweeping the arms up overhead, take a big breath in. Wherever you choose to be, keeping the length of the low back. So we think about that front leg, the front sit bone is scooping under and forwards. And again, of course, any discomfort in the low back, we come up onto the ball of the back foot. 2 more. Big inhale in. Long breath out. Last one. Inhale, slow and steady. Smooth exhale. Then we straighten out through the front leg, breathing in. Beautiful. Then from here, we start to turn this left heel in. Good. And then we start to heel toe the right foot in towards the center a little bit more. We're coming into Trikonasana first. So right toes forward. Yeah, that's it. Good. And if you'd like your block, you can grab it now. Bring it to the inside of your right foot. I recommend to keep your hand just to the inner knee. But if you want to go a little bit deeper, mamas who've been practicing for a while, then you can place your right hand onto the block. Otherwise, hand to the inner knee. Either left arm straight up towards the sky or left hand to the hip. So there's a subtle, soft bend into the front knee, but the front leg is straight, the back leg is straight. And then Alex, just turn your toes in a little bit more towards me. Yeah, that's it. Just give yourself that little bit more space for the sacrum. Keeping length through the right side body, inhale. Really grounded into the front leg, exhale. Smooth breath in. Long breath out. 1 more in breath. Long out breath. Then as you breathe in, we'll bring the hands back to the belly. We'll gently come back up, nice and slow, strong with that back leg. Beautiful. And then we'll start to bring the heels in, toes out. You can move that block out of the way. So keeping the feet in line with one another, heels are drawing in, toes drawing out. And just notice here, we don't want too much of a wide stance. We want to make sure that when we bend the knees, the weight is going back into the heels. And keep pressing down into the big toes. Hands onto the belly. Take a big breath in, lift the heart. As you exhale, deep bend into the knees. That's it. And again, inhale, straighten through the legs. Exhale, deep bend into the knees. And again, you can introduce the arms here, sweeping the arms up overhead, inhale, legs straighten. Hands through prayer, deep bend into the knees, exhale. 2 more like this. Arms up overhead, big breath in. Deep bend into the knees, hands through prayer, long breath out. Last one, big in breath. Keep the knees tracking out wide. Deep bend into the knees, long out breath. Hold, stay here for a breath in. Ground for a breath out. Straightening out through the legs, inhale. Releasing the hands onto the belly as you heel toe the feet in on the exhale. Beautiful. And then we'll step to the top of the mat. Then making sure that your blocks are in front again. We'll press down into the feet. We'll sweep the arms up overhead. Take a breath in. Deep bend into the knees, forward fold, hands onto the blocks, breath out. Good. Grounding into the feet, take a halfway lift, breathing in, looking forwards, lots of opening for the heart. Exhale, weight to the toes, folding in. And again, once more, big inhale. Folding in, long exhale. Beautiful. Now this time, halfway lift, breathing in. Take your time. You'll step the right foot back, using the support of the blocks, lowering the right knee down. Good. And then using the support of the blocks, you'll step the left foot back. You might have to slide the blocks in a little closer. How's that? Yeah. Good. Yeah. And then again, little movements from side to side with the hips. And then slowly we'll bring the hands down onto the mat, lower the sit bones towards the heels. And then we'll move the hips over to one side and just be really mindful of this transition as you bring your legs forward. So keeping the hands onto the belly as you lower the hips down. We'll bring the legs around. Just taking your time. How's that? Yeah. Perfect. Then from here, we'll get a little deeper into the hips. So you'll grab your blanket and we'll place it underneath the sit bones. So underneath your hips for a little bit more support. That's it. Now bending the knees, planting the feet down. You'll cross your right shin in front of the left shin. So essentially it's like you're coming into a cross-legged seat. Perfect. Then flexing the feet, working the knees more in line with the feet, but don't worry if it doesn't go anywhere near the knees. Your feet may be a little closer in if you're feeling quite tight in the hips today, that's okay. And you can grab your two blocks for support if you like, hands onto the blocks. And you'll take a big breath in, lift the heart. Either staying here or still keeping lots of space for the belly, gentle hinge of the hips, leaning forwards. How's that for your hips, Alex? Yeah. Especially after those goddess stances, this is going to feel nice. Now with every breath in, send the breath to the low back ribs, really filling up the low back with breath. Then as you exhale, start to envision that the tension, the tightness that you feel in the hips begins to dissolve with the out breath. So really working to soften the tissue. Finding that little bit more ease with the exhale. So it's important that we do a cross-legged here. You can do pigeon pose single leg, but I like to make sure that you're really safe, especially in your third trimester, where the ligaments around your SI joint are becoming quite loose. So anything that's really stabilizing for your pelvis is really great. So those of you who do like to do single leg pigeon pose, just making sure that you have that extra height and support to keep your pelvis stable. So in this double pigeon, we'll take 2 more deep breaths. Big breath in from the base of the spine all the way up. Breathing, envisioning the breath going to the crown. Then as you exhale, maybe another hinge at the hips, going that little bit deeper. And then pressing down to the sit bones, peeling yourself back up as you breathe in. Gently releasing the hands from the blocks as you lean the weight back. Just take your time. Super slow, we'll switch the legs. So now bringing the left shin in front of the right shin. Again, you feel into this one. We're working the feet more in line with the knees, but again, doesn't matter if they don't go anywhere near. Flexing the feet. Yeah. Hands onto the blocks for support if you like. Nice, tall, aligned, lengthened spine. Then as you exhale, either staying here if this is enough for the hips or gently hinging at the hips, leaning forwards. Big breath in, breathing into the heart, breathing into the low back. Long breath out. The knees get a little heavier. The tissue around the low back, the glutes, a little softer. And really use the fullness of each breath. The fullness of the lungs. Big inhale in. Long, slow breath out. 2 more deep breaths here. Breathing in, filling up. Long, steady out breath. Last one. Inhale. Full exhale. Pressing down to the sit bones, peeling yourself back up as you inhale. Gently bringing the hands behind you off the blocks, releasing the legs on the exhale. Wow. And just take a moment here, rebound for the legs. You can extend the legs. And then I'll just talk you through the next pose. So we're coming into a restorative pose, a restorative heart opener. So we'll take our block and our bolster or our big pillow, and we'll bring it behind us. So I'll get Alex to slide a little bit more forwards. That's it, honey. And I'll just move this blanket out of the way. So you'll know this pose from the second trimester practice and the restorative practices, one of my favorite poses. So the block is on the middle setting, middle height, bolster on top like so. And then here, you can take your blanket again and just bring it in front of the bolster, and then you'll come and sit onto the blanket. That's it, honey. Perfect. Now, we'll move our sit bones forwards even more because we want less of a curve in the low back. We already have this big curve that's forming in the low back when we're in our third trimester, when the belly's getting bigger. So we'll move a little bit further away from the bolster. So we'll slide forwards. That's it. You can take the blanket with you this way. Yeah. Good. And as you start to lie back, you'll lie back more from the mid to upper back. All right. Just going nice and slow. You can bring your hands behind you as support. Alex is like, I trust you. You aren't going to use your hands. Beautiful. Then bending the knees. Is that nice? We'll heel toe the feet a little wider, and for this one, we'll allow the knees to knock in, to draw in towards one another. That's it. Beautiful. Now you can choose here either hands onto the belly or arms alongside the body. And before you start to really drop in and sink into the bolster, just ask yourself the question, can I be even more comfortable here? Because you really want to feel like a queen, absolute queen. So if you'd like a blanket underneath the head, grab your other blanket, place it underneath the head, or maybe you'd like to place your blanket on top of your belly, on top of your pelvis, really to just help you ground and settle. So Alex, how could you be more comfortable, my love? Blankie on the belly. A little bit more warmth for the baba. And then we'll take 2 deep, full breaths here out of the mouth as a really way to release, to settle in. Really dropping into that place of receiving. So big inhale. Long exhale. Know that at any point you can come out of this pose. And mamas, be very intuitive here. Your intuition is really, really heightened. So if you feel like you need more height, then you can grab another bolster, another pillow, propping yourself up that little bit higher. Just really feel into this. This is your time to fully surrender. And feeling very supported here. You can drop into that sweet surrender. Feeling very held here, very safe. Very safe to let go of anything that isn't serving you. Any anxiety, any scattered energy, we dissolve it now. And softening the jaw, the tongue. After the effort that you have applied, now you can really drop into softness. You stepped into your power, you stepped into your strength. And now for the remaining time of practice, we embrace softness. We'll take 5 more deep breaths here. Breathing into the heart, breathing into the belly, sending breath to the baby. Long, slow out breath with every exhale, smooth and steady, really watching and feeling the breath. Big inhale. Out the mouth, full exhale. And if you're really, really comfortable here and you want to stay here for Shavasana, you can stay. Otherwise, we'll slowly roll onto our left side, just taking our time. And we'll keep the blanket underneath our sit bones. So we'll keep the blanket underneath the left hip. And we'll take the bolster and we'll bring it between our legs. So Alex, you can lie back down onto your left side, honey. That's it. And maybe the blanket that was on the bolster, you can then move it onto the head, underneath the head. Or if it was on your belly, move it underneath the head. And then bolster comes between the legs, like so. I might actually get you to shuffle a little bit more. That's it, honey. And then again, before you drop in, asking yourself, can I be that little bit more comfortable? Can I find more ease? As you can stop this video whenever you like. So if you need to stay in Shavasana, in your side lying Shavasana, then you can for as long as you need. Really dropping into a state of rest. It's really important in our practice that we honor both the sthira, the steadiness, the strength, and the sukha, the softness. And that there is this beautiful balance of both. Mamas, you can stay here for as long as you need. Thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste.